Welcome to a course on operating systems. So far you have studied 4 units from this subject. You know the title of unit is Unit 1 is Process Management, the title of Unit 2 is Process Synchronization, and the title of Unit 3 is Deadlocks, the title of 4 is Memory Management. There you studied paging, segmentation, virtual memory, demand paging and all. Okay, you studied so far. Now the 5th unit, the title of the 5th unit is Secondary Storage Structure. Secondary Storage Structure is the title of Unit 5. So basically in this Unit 5, what we are going to study, you are studying mass storage structure. We are studying mass storage structure, mass storage systems. There are several types of storage systems, secondary, particularly the secondary storage systems. There are several types, several kinds of storage systems are available, but so those storage systems we are treating a different way, and different kinds of storage systems are used in different applications. But basically the well-known storage system is hard disk. Hard disk is the well-known storage system. Here from this unit, what we are going to study, you can learn what is the structure of the mass storage structure, particularly hard disk, and how it will function, and how to calculate the capacity, and some disk performance parameters. Disk performance parameters or metrics, how to calculate. Later we will see some disk scheduling algorithms. Using this disk scheduling algorithms, we can minimize the latency and we can minimize the seek time. We can minimize the seek time of the disk, seek time of the header, so to read the data from the disk. Whenever you apply IO operations in the system, those operations related to a magnetic disk. So there are some performance parameters, how to minimize those values and how to maximize the performance matrix values, and what is the best way to access the data from the disk. Those are the disk scheduling algorithms. Now let us see what are the topics we are going to study from this unit. From this unit, the first topic we will study overview of mass storage structure. Overview of mass storage structure. What are the different components are there? Particularly mass storage structure means we are talking about hard disk. We are talking about hard disk. We are talking about hard disk. Sometimes it is called magnetic tape. Sometimes it is called magnetic tape or magnetic disk. So you say, so magnetic tape or magnetic disk. Magnetic disk. So most of the cases, so hard disk is, so we will call generally magnetic disk as a hard disk. And second topic we will see disk structure. What are the several ways to connect the disks, and what is the way to attach the disk? The several ways to attach those disks. We will study those issues from the second topic. And third topic is very, very important in examination point of view. Why? Because from this third topic, we will study different scheduling algorithms. Different scheduling algorithms means there is a procedure to read the data from the disk. If you follow that procedure, if you follow that sequence or that procedure, that method to access the data from the disk, definitely we can minimize the performance parameters or disk performance metrics. Disk performance metrics. That is the objective of disk scheduling algorithms. Next, coming to the objectives of this unit. The first objective of this unit, I am discussing the same thing from the beginning of this topic. So from this video, here to describe the physical structure, to describe the physical structure of the secondary storage devices. Physically, how they are and what are the different physical components are there in the secondary storage devices, in the secondary storage devices, and it affect on the use of the devices. Its effects on the uses of the devices. That is also another object. After that, the second object is to explain the performance of characteristics of a mass storage device. What are the different characteristics, performance characteristics of mass storage devices? So first one is, the first parameter is transfer rate. What is the first parameter? Transfer rate. Transfer rate. Transfer rate is the first parameter. And the second parameter, so the second parameter for this one is, we may say, seek time. Seek time is the second parameter. Sometimes it is called ST, seek time, transfer rate, TR, transfer rate, TR, and latency. Latency time, or latency rotational latency. Latency, all we will see as a performance characteristics of mass storage devices. And third objective is to evaluate the disk scheduling algorithms. We will see that we have several types of disk scheduling algorithms. Several kinds of disk scheduling algorithms are there. Using these disk scheduling algorithms, how to calculate? Using these disk scheduling algorithms, we will calculate the seek time for a given set of tracks. For given set of tracks. For given set of tracks. All those things we will see as a third topic. This is the third objective of this unit. So from this unit, we are going to achieve three objectives. First one is physical structure of a secondary storage devices, and second one is performance characteristics. Third one is disk scheduling algorithms. So first one is physical structure of the disk, and second one is what are the different performance metrics or characteristics. What is transfer rate or data rate, and what is the seek time and how the seek time will be calculated, and what is the formula, what is the latency time or rotational latency. All those things we will study as the performance characteristics of mass storage. Mass storage means last slide we have seen that mass storage means hard disk or magnetic disk, And coming to the third objective is to evaluate the disk scheduling algorithms. First come first serve, and shortest seek time first. FCFS, first come first serve, or shortest seek time first. SSTF, shortest seek time first. Like that. So we will see next one scan. Scan we will see C-scan, C-scan algorithm, and next one is look. And next, there are so many variants of disk scheduling algorithms. So the objective of these disk scheduling algorithms is to minimize the performance characteristics, means to minimize the seek time for a given set of tracks while doing the IO operations. That is the main objective. So these are the objectives of Unit 5. And now coming to the physical structure of the mass storage. The physical structure of magnetic disk. So mass storage means magnetic disk. What is the physical structure of this magnetic magnetic disk. Magnetic disk. Physical structure of a magnetic disk. Physical structure of a hard disk. So here in this hard disk, you can find the first one is, first physical component is, so what is that? Platter. Okay, platter. What is a platter? Platter is a circular shaped magnetic disk. Magnetic. So what is that? A platter is a circular shaped it's a magnetic plate like CD. So this platter is coated with magnetic material. This platter is coated with magnetic material because the data recorded on a platter as a magnetic signals, as a magnetic values, magnetic signals or magnetic voltage values. So that is the point you should understand. Now I am not going to explain how the data will be written and what type of format the data will be written on the platter. That is out of our topic. But here the physical component in the hard disk, the first component is the platter is the first component. Here you can see this is the platter. After that, all these platters are connected to one type of component that is called spindle. So that these are fixed with the spindle. All platter shape also same. So the common platter size some 1.8 inches to almost about 6 inches. So platters now the manufacturing, so using in this magnetic disk. So that is the common size of the platter. And every platter has two surfaces. How many surfaces? Two surfaces. This is surface 1. This is surface 1, and bottom of this platter also you can see another surface. Both two surfaces are coated with magnetic material. And next one, every platter equipped with read and write header. What is that? Every platter is equipped with read and write header. This is read and write header. So every platter contains one for every surface. So separate read and write header is there. Okay, you can see in this diagram, separate read and write headers are available for each platter. But so this head just flies on a platter or magnetic surface of a platter. So this header is not going to contact with this platter. There is a thin air difference between the read and write header and platter, because this header should not touch the platter. If the header is touched with the platter, that accident is called a head crash, or that accident is called disk crash. What is that? When it is touched with the platter, so this accident is called, what is that? That is a disk crash. Once disk crash accident is occurred in the disk, it is not possible to repair. We can't repair any disk crash occurred in the hard disk. We cannot repair. We have to replace the entire hard disk or entire magnetic disk in the computer. And next one, so here all these heads are connected with the arm. All these heads are connected with this arm. So this arm can move all the headers, all read and write heads as a unit. Suppose if the arm moved, all heads will move on all platters. This is another important point you should remember. And next, coming to this platter, every platter is divided into tracks. This circular shape, but our eye cannot see our eye cannot see directly these tracks on platter, but using a microscope you can see all these logical divisions. These are logical divisions actually. Our bare eyes cannot view all these logical divisions. So this is a track. Here this circular here you can see the circular shape here. This circular shape is a track. This track is again subdivided into sectors. So the small units. Every track is divided into small units. These small units are called sectors. These small units are called sectors. This is the sector here. You can see this is the sector. This is the sector. So is the final component or a final point where so we can store the data. This is the actual final unit. Here in this sector only the data will be stored. The data is stored here in this sector. The data is stored in this sector. That is the point you understand. Now what is that? So every here, so in the mass storage structure, so if you see this is the physical mass storage structure. The mass storage structure contains n number of platters. Platter is a magnetic plate like CD or DVD. Every platter so simply come with, so means actually it is a iron material, but on top of iron material there is a magnetic surface. Most of the cases in modern mass storage structures, every platter come with two surfaces, top surface and bottom surface. For every surface, read and write header is required to write the data or to read the data from the platter. So there is a small gap that is called, every read and write header flies on a surface. There is a thin air gap between the platter and header. So read and write head should not touch the platter. If accidentally, if any header touches this one, so that leads to a disk crash. Once the disk crash is occurred, we cannot use hard disk. Means repair is not possible, irreparable. This accident is irreparable. We have to replace the total hard disk. And coming to these divisions, logical divisions, on surface of a platter, every platter surface divided into tracks. Again, the tracks are divided into sectors. And another component, another physical, logical component is there, that is a cylinder. Here, what is a cylinder means? The same track in all platters, surfaces. In all platter surfaces is called cylinder. What is the cylinder here? Cylinder means all tracks, means same track. Means suppose this is a 10th track, 10th track here and 10th track here. So 10th track on all surfaces of platter is called cylinder. Okay. So this is the actual idea, means this is the actual structure. So what is a spindle means? A spindle is one connected component. This spindle so used to connect all platters, means tightly connected all platters. This spindle will be rotated in a round motion using a motor. Similarly, this arm is also moved only in horizontal direction. Now, if you want to read any data from a particular sector, so any data from the particular sector, first you have to identify the track of that sector, and move the arm. You can move the arm, and next one, place the header on the track. Place the header on the track. After that, using this spindle rotation, rotate the platters, and next one keep that sector inside the header. So this is the main objective of this rotation. So using these rotational things and all, means rotating this arm and rotating this spindle. So what we are trying to do means, what it is doing? It is performing read and write operations and reaching to a specific sector, on surface of platter, So you can understand what are the components of a mass storage. Here the components are, first one is platter. So this is, first one is a platter, and next one is, the second one is, here we are using a spindle to connect all platters, and next one, third one is read and write header. For every surface we required, read and write header. All read and write headers connected to one component. That component name is arm. What is that component? Arm. Arm can rotate only in horizontal direction. Okay. After that, the logical divisions. If you see the logical divisions here, so every surface is divided into tracks. Again, each track is logically divided into sectors. And next one is the eighth part. What we have seen is cylinder. Cylinder is the same numbered track, on all surfaces. Is called cylinder. This is the overview of mass storage structure, or a physical structure of the magnetic disk. And now here, if you see, so what is a magnetic disk? Means magnetic disk provides the bulk of secondary storage of modern computers. What is the purpose of this? The purpose of this one here, the purpose of this magnetic disk is basically provides the bulk secondary. Bulk means your larger mass, your large secondary storage of modern computers. So these drives rotate. So rotate 60 to 250 times per second. 60 to 250 times per second. And next one, we have seen so we have explained that some performance parameters. What are the performance parameters here? Transfer rate. This is a TR. Sometimes it is called TR, transfer rate. Transfer rate is the rate at which data flow between the drive and a computer. Probably we will measure this one. The units of transfer rate is bits per second, bytes per second, megabytes per second, like that. So transfer rate means how the data, means what is the data flow from the drive to computer. This is vice versa, computer to drive. So between drive and a computer, that is the transfer rate. And here, while doing this transfer, means while performing the data transformation in the system, so that measurement, whenever we are trying to calculate the transfer rate, so in that transfer rate, we have to add the seek time, and next one latency rate. So other times means random access, latency rate, all those things you have to consider. The first one is the positioning time. Already we have explained what is the positioning time. What is the time taken to position read and write header on top of the track, specific track. So this is also called random access time. Is the time to move the disk arm to a desired cylinder. Whenever the arm is moved, all read and write headers will move at a time. So that here we are talking, instead of track, what is the point? Cylinder. So this is also known as seek time. And the time for a desired sector. What is the time required to reach the header to a particular sector? So that the time for a desired sector to rotate under the disk head, to rotate the disk head. Now what we are rotating, here we are not rotating, means we are not moving the arm. So what is the rotation here? Rotation means here using a spindle. A spindle is rotated. How much time is taken to rotate that track, so to get the sector under the disk head? That is called rotational latency. The average latency is half of the rotational latency. That we will see in the coming slides. What is that average rotational latency? Average rotational latency is half of the time. Why? Because so whenever you want to reach a particular sector, you can rotate the platter either in anti-clock direction or a clockwise direction. Within a half time, definitely we can reach the sector. So that is the reason latency always taken as a 1/2 of a rotational latency. That means a rotational latency here, they treat it as always half rotation. And next, last point is head crash. I have explained this head crash is also one of the performance characteristic. I have explained this head crash. This results from the disk head makes a contact. What is head crash? Head crash means head makes a contact with the disk surface. Disk surface. So that is a bad. This bad accident leads to head crash. Head crash. So that there is some protective layer on. So some modern hard disks having some protective layer on the platter surface also. They are using some protective layer protect the surface from the read and write header. Read and write header. These are the performance. These are the performance characteristics. And coming to that, disk can be removable. So this is also disk can be removable. This can be removed and you can attach another one. And next one, every disk is connected with the computer with some wires. With some wires. Physically using some wires. Those wires are called input and output bus. Those wires are called input and output bus. So these buses, there are various buses available. So those, some of the buses, you all studied all these buses in the computer organization, different types of buses. Data bus, you have seen how they are connected, how the components are connected. So the popular kinds of buses are EID. EID is one of the popular. This is enhanced integrated device electronics. What is that? EID means enhanced integrated device electronics. There is a lot of there are several types of specifications for that. And another one is, another bus is ATA. ATA means advanced technology attachment. This is another type of one. Next one, SATA. SATA is also a well known. So that is a serial advanced technology attachment. USB, nowadays it is possible to connect the hard disk using USB, universal serial bus, and fiber channels, SCI, SAS, Firewire, like that. There are so many types of buses are there. These are the various kinds of buses. Using these buses, you can connect the hard disk to the computer. While connecting these hard disks to the computer, we required some controllers, some processors. There are two kinds of processors. One is host control, another one is disk control. Host control and disk control. What is a host controller? Host controller is a computer, in computer uses the bus to talk to. bus to talk to. Means here computer, in the computer side, there is a controller, there is a processor. That processor attached at the end of the bus, at the end of the bus of a disk. And another one is a disk controller. Disk controller is built in into a drive or a storage array or a storage disk. So this disk controller controls all the operations, means performs all the operations on the disk, means rotating and reading, writing, and all those things will do. So this disk controller will use some cache memory. Some cache memory means every disk will come with a cache memory. So whenever there is a command given by the computer, that command passed to the host controller, then host controller send those commands as a messages to the disk controller, then the disk controller will perform, means will do the actions on that command. So it will execute all the actions related to that command and perform the operations. So those are the results of those operations again will send back to the host controller. This is the way to communicate each other and perform the input and output operations on the disk. So whenever the data is transferred, first the data is transferred from the disk to cache. Disk to cache memory means the data is transferred in the disk between the cache and disk, means disk controller disk. After that, the data is transferred from the cache to host controller, means cache to the computer. This is the way the communication will take place between the computer and a disk. So these are the two processors will perform the input and output operation or data transfer operation from the computer to disk, And coming to the hard disk parameters, some of the real-time hard disk parameters. So platter ranges, already the platter size ranges from 0.85 inches to 14 inches. Historically, here started from 0.85 inches to 14 inches. Commonly used from 3.5, 2.5 and 1.8. These are the commonly used platter sizes. And the range. What is the range here? You can see nowadays there is a big range here. They are using even peta GB also they are using. Now here we can see commonly 30 GB to 3 TB pen drives, or pen drive means here hard disks also available. And coming to the performance, transfer rate, theoretically, so it is possible to transfer 6 GB per second, but in real time it is possible to do 1 GB per second. Effective transfer rate 1 GB per second. And seek time, so seek time is normally 3 milliseconds to 12 milliseconds, and sometimes, so the common one is 9 milliseconds for desktop drives. For if it's a special case, so the minimum time is 3 milliseconds. Now next, the average seek time measures or calculated based on 1/3 of tracks. Next one, latency based on spindle. What is that? Spindle speed. Latency is based on the spindle speed. So 60 rotations. So real time 60 rotations per minute. So 60. Sometimes it is also possible to rotate in special drives up to 250 rotations per minute. And next, average latency. If you see, I have explained about this average latency. The average latency, most of the cases we will see is 1/2 latency. 1/2 means half of the rotation. Why? Because I have explained average, whenever you want to find the track, most of the cases when you spindle the platter, within half time, you can find the desired track. So that the average latency is of 1/2 latency, half of it. Next one, so hard disk performance already. So access latency means here average access time. Average access time is average seek time plus average latency. Average seek time plus average latency. For fast disks, this is 5 milliseconds fast disk, and for slow disk, this is 14.56 milliseconds. The average I/O time is average access time. Average access time, this is already we have calculated, plus amount to transfer, means transfer rate, amount to transfer or amount to transfer rate. Next one, controller overhead. Controller overhead, how much time? Most of the cases, this controller overhead may be taken as 0. So means taken as 0 in special cases, and means it can be in RAID structures only. This controller overhead will be considered. Controller overhead will be considered. These are the ways to calculate the average input and output time and average latency or average access time, all those things using these parameters. What we are trying to do is these values should go down whenever we are doing any I/O operations for set of requests, for set of commands. When it is seeking some set of tracks or cylinders, these access times, average I/O time, access time, average access time value should be small, means should decrease, means the value should be minimum. Value should be minimum. If these values are minimum, then the way of accessing, the procedure of accessing, the scheduling of accessing of the given set of tracks or given set of sectors, that scheduling is better than other scheduling algorithm or other scheduling procedure. And now coming to the small problem here. So using this problem, you can understand the disk structure, very well, or you can explore the structure what you have studied so far with the help of this numerical problem. Here in this problem, consider a disk which has 16 platters. How many platters? Consider a disk. How many platters we have? 16 platters. How many platters here? 16 platters we have, and every platter has 2 surfaces. How many surfaces here? How many surfaces? 2 surfaces here. Every platter has 2 surfaces. So top surface and bottom surface. Every platter has 2 surfaces. Every surface has 2K tracks. 2K tracks. Every surface has 2K tracks. How many tracks on every surface? So there is a here. What is that? There is a platter. On that platter, how many number of tracks? How many number of tracks here? This is track 1, track 2, track 3. Like that, how many tracks? 1K tracks. 1K tracks. Again, every track is further divided into how many? 512 sectors. Every track is divided into, this is a sector 1, sector 2, sector 3, and so on. What is the last sector? Last sector is 512. Last sector is 512. This is the actual structure they have given, explained they have given. Every sector can store, means what is the final component or final part, a logical part, which is used to store the data. So that is a sector. How much data it is storing? 2 kilobytes. Every sector can store 2 kilobytes of data. 2 kilobytes of data. Then calculate what is the capacity of total disk. According to given data, what is the capacity of total disk? What is the capacity of the disk? So the entire disk. So according to the given data, you find the capacity. Capacity in the sense size. Capacity in the sense size. And how many bits are required to identify any particular sector of the disk? Suppose if you want to give the numbers for each track, each sector, what they are asking? Sector. For each sector, if you want to assign numerical numbers, numerical values, how many bits required? How many bits required? How many bits required if you want to assign a numerical numbers to all the sectors available in the disk. This is the data they are asking. Using this data, can you calculate the expected given calculations? Can you find the given calculations? First one is the capacity of disk. So if you want to calculate the capacity of disk, we have to find the number of sectors in the disk. So first write the data. So there is how many platters? 16 platters. So every platter, one platter contains how many surfaces? Two surfaces. So total number of surfaces. How many platters we have? 16 platters. 16 platters. So that 16 into 2. 16 into 2 means 32 surfaces. 32 surfaces. Okay. Now each surface. Okay, how many tracks? Okay, each surface, one surface. Okay, one surface has how many tracks? 1k tracks. How many tracks? 1k tracks. So now, how many surfaces we have now? We have 32 surfaces. 32 surfaces. If 32 surfaces, how many number of tracks? 32 into 1k tracks. 1k 32 into 1k tracks. So total number of tracks here. Total number of tracks 32 into 1k tracks. Now, okay, one track contains how many sectors? One track contains how many sectors? Okay, 512 sectors. So total number of sectors now. How many number of sectors here now? Total number of sectors. Now. So total number of sectors, if you want to find, so what you have to do is multiply its number of tracks into number of sectors of each track. We know the total tracks and we know how many number of sectors for one track. So total here 32 into 1k tracks into 512 sectors. 512 into 512 sectors. 512 sectors. So what is the value here? Total value is 32 into 512 into 1k sectors. So now they are asking, what finally they are asking? They are asking capacity of the disk. So we know the total number of sectors. Total number of sectors are 32 into 512 into 1k plus each sector. How much data it is going to store? Each sector, how much data it is going to store? 2 KB. 2 KB. So you can write this one. 32 means 2 to the power of 5 in 512 means 2 to the power of 9 and 1k means 2 to the power of 10 and 2 kb means 2 to the power of, okay, what is that? 2 to the power of 11. 2 to the power of 11. So what is the total one? Total data is 2 to the power of 14, 24, 35. You can write this one as 2 power 5 into 2 power 30. 2 power 30. So you know what is 2 power 30? 2 power 30 means GB. This is 32 GB. 32 GB. So 2 to the power of 10 is KB and 2 to the power of 20 is MB and 2 to the power of 30 GB. Okay, so finally what is the capacity of this? Capacity is 32 GB. 32 GB. So this is the solution of the first problem. And the second one is, what is the second problem here? The second problem is, okay, here they are asking how many number of bits to identify a particular sector. To identify a particular sector, how many bits, okay, to identify a particular sector in the disk. How many number of sectors we have? According to the data, how many number of sectors? According to the data, number of sectors are, okay, here number of sectors, okay, number of sectors equal to what is that? Okay, 32 into, okay, 512 into 1k sectors. 32 into 512 into 1k sectors. 32 into, so I get into 1k sectors. Okay. Now using these sectors means if you convert these sectors into 2 powers, that is 2 power 5, next one 2 power 9, 2 power 10. This is equal to 2 power 24. This is equal to 2 power 24. This is equal to 2 power 24. So if it is the number of numerical values, how many we required? 2 power 24 numbers. If you want 2 power 24 numbers, how many bits we required? Only 24 bits. Only 24 bits required. Only 24 bits required. So what is the answer for this? The answer for this is 24 bits. The answer for this is 24 bit. What is the answer for this? 32 GB is the answer. 32 GB is the answer. So here you can understand with the help of these platters and with the help of surfaces and tracks, sectors, and next one here, what is the size to store, what is the capacity to store each sector. Based on this type of data, it is possible to calculate the capacity and it is possible to calculate the number of tracks. So if they ask how many number of tracks in the disk, you can calculate. If they ask how many number of sectors, you can calculate. If they ask how many number of tracks for 2 surfaces, like that if they ask, you can calculate. Similarly here, for each platter, how much data will be stored? That such type of questions also, okay, they may ask. Based on the question, you can give the answer if you know all the meaning of each component physically. If you know it, so you can calculate easily. So this is the way to solve the problem which is related to physical storage. Similarly, you can find the seek time, transfer time, latency and all. So at that means theoretical concept. Here just we are studying the normal subject, so that here these are the issues you can find, and these are the issues you can use and calculate the required parameters, required performance parameters. If they ask, you can calculate like this. And finally, in this first topic of for fifth unit, we have studied so what is the physical structure and how the disk will move, means moving the head, moving the head disk mechanism, that is a magnetic disk structure we have seen in this lecture. And next one, disk performance metrics. Disk performance metrics, we have seen how to calculate the seek time, what is the meaning of seek time, and what is the meaning of transfer rate, and what is latency, and all parameters, what is the average access time, what is the formula to calculate the average access time, and what is the formula to calculate the a particular average IO, average IO operation, average IO time for a given data. All those issues we have seen in this lecture or in this session. Okay, thank you for watching this video.